this subject I want to touch on broadly. And I want to make it unequivocal. Whether or not we decide, is it time to go private? Is it finally time to go private? What is private? So, what's private? I don't know. I guess we have to talk about what public is and what are representations of public and what is really going on. So, first and foremost, let's talk about what's really going on. Commerce. Hands down. Commerce. Commerce, we know, is an inferior jurisdiction. So we need an entity for which to do commerce in, right? So you got the state birth certificate. I know. Please stick with me. Stick with me, y'all. You got the state birth certificate. It says state of on it, whatever state. There's a seal on the top or whatever. And then on it, it says your name. And I'm saying your name because I'm putting quotes with my hands. If you can see me, I'm doing the quotation with my fingers. But essentially, if you ask me, that's an entity. It's a public entity. Right? Off top from the tippy. So, if you look at this birth certificate, if you look at the Social Security card, obviously they're both were created by public entities. Would you agree? Thank you. With that being said, that's obviously not private, right? Sometimes in order for us to know what something is, we need to know what it isn't. And what I'm telling you is private is not a birth certificate. It is not a Social Security number. It is identified in the commercial jurisdiction, in the public jurisdiction by foreign EINs. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Anklets. I'm going to crack all types of anklets. You know me, I pancake toast. Because, incorrect information incorrectly applied can get you hurt. And correct information incorrectly applied can get you hurt. So I have no problem doing this. Pancaking toes and hurting pockets because we need to step up our game. We need to step up our knowledge. Okay? Cool. Check this out. So we understand that the Social Security card, which is the Social Security Administration, which, is enacted by legislation. Okay, that's public. We understand that the birth certificate, if you look at it, it says state of on there. And if you look closely, it'll say, some sort of bank note company somewhere. But, that's neither here nor there in the topic of this discussion. Is it finally time to go private? So, when it comes to what does it mean to go private, I want to be explicit and clear with regards to what it doesn't mean to go private. So doing business with a Social Security number, in my opinion, I'm not a tax attorney, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer, I don't have a bar card, any of that stuff, any of those things. But in my opinion, these are all public entities. Not created by a private entity. These are created by public entities. And these are public ways of doing business. So what does go private mean? What does it mean to go private? It means to do business in the public from the aspect or from the standpoint of a private entity. Plain and simple. Now, what type of entity? It can be a business trust. It can be other types of trust, charitable trust. But it's a private entity. So what does that mean? It's an entity that was created and derives its creation not from legislation, not from the public, not from an act of Congress or legislation of some type of state legislator or anything like that. It doesn't fall under any type of constitution or, to be specific, it doesn't fall under the Constitution, but it is recognized by the Constitution. Recognition is contract, plain and simple. Plain and simple. I do trustee training. in the private. With regards to that training, there's a manual. In that manual, there's a question. It's a private manual. Can't find it in the public. Public information isn't going to teach you how to go private because doing business from the standpoint of privacy or from the standpoint of a private entity is not in the public's best interest. In this manual, what is a contract? That's a question. A contract is an agreement to do or not to do a certain thing and is one source of obligation. Obligation is defined as a legal duty by which a person is bound to do or not to do a certain thing. The elements essential to the existence of a contract are: 1, parties capable of contracting. Digression just a little bit. When it comes to, the birth certificate, so-called contract, it was what's the word? What the word I'm looking for, y'all? It was basically written up at birth. Parties capable of contracting. 2, mutual consent of those parties. Once again, that's kind of weird. 3, a lawful object. Lawful object. Lawful, not legal. Lawful. Attorney at law versus your brother-in-law. You know what I mean? You follow? And 4, a sufficient cause or consideration. A contract is either express or implied. An express contract is one in which the terms are stated in words. The existence of the terms of an implied contract are manifest by conduct. Although a great deal can be said concerning implied contracts, this discussion will be limited to express contracts, since we are primarily concerned with the proper drafting of written agreements. Contracts can be classified as either unilateral or bilateral. In a unilateral contract, the promisor or offeror expects that the contract will be consummated by the performance, not by the promise of the other party. A bilateral contract is formed when two parties' promise is given for the other party's promise. I know it gets convoluted. A law dictionary is absolutely necessary. So when we're dealing with going private, we need to understand what going private means. What does going private mean? It means I'm doing business from the standpoint of essentially own nothing, control everything. From a position of privacy. Now I'll tell you, I can create a corporation and obtain a bank account without a social security number. Let me back up. I can create a corporation and obtain an EIN without a social security number, without showing ID. And so can you. But you got to understand the nuances of being private. So what does going private mean? Going private means doing business from private entities. What is a private entity? Well, it's a private instrumentality. What is an instrumentality? A private instrumentality. It's an instrumentality that does not derive its existence from the public or public legislation. So what does that mean? It's a contract. Express or implied, but we deal with express because it's written in words. It's a private contract. So what do you mean? It's a trust. It's a private trust. It's a trust? Yes, man. It's a business trust. It's a business trust. That's how you go private. Instead of doing business from the standpoint of the social and the birth certificate, which is, the trick is you take your social and your birth certificate and then you apply for the benefit of not having to use those two documents but only having to use an ID to do business. So you walk around with an ID, but I mean, it's an entity, it's a public entity for the benefit of the public. It was given to us. Why was it given to us? Because we come from uninformed families. What does that mean? Well, our families didn't know the administration or creation or perpetuation of trust and trust assets. What do you mean? Basically, when it came time for you to do business in public, there was no one in your family to create an entity on behalf of the family estate for you, for the benefit of you, from a private perspective. So what happened? Well, the state gave you an entity, and you, from birth, essentially. But then, you executed it when you got the ID and started using it for employment. What do you mean? When you started using it to get a job and you started getting paychecks for on top of the EIN or the social. Oh, that's the public entity with your name on it, but it's in all capital letters. Go look. And this is like one of them debates that's been going on for a long time, and I'm not going to get into that. But I will tell you this, commerce is inferior to you. The commercial jurisdiction of the commercial realm is inferior to the realm at which you occupy. If you can hear what I'm saying, because commercial entities cannot hear what I'm saying. So we do business with a private contract entity. I'll go 1 Section 10 in part, which means shortened up. I'm going to take some stuff out of it, the middle, but no state shall pass any law impairing the obligation of contracts. Contract entity, private, does not derive its existence from any statute or any type of legislation. So it doesn't fall under the legislation. What does that mean? The indenture is the law. That is very powerful. I mean, I can get into very specific nuances with regards to the indenture being the law. But I want to stay on the foundation level with this. And the foundation level is this whole time we've been doing business with the wrong entity. And it's our fault. Why? Because we were ignorant. My mom didn't teach me, my dad didn't teach me, correct. But then I didn't learn after that. I didn't seek it out. I didn't know to seek it out. Well, a lot of stuff we didn't know, but we sought it out anyways. So I'm not making excuses for myself. I've been doing business with the wrong entity this whole time. This entire time. Is it finally time to go private? Yes. Taxation is crazy. It's rampant. You know the difference between voluntary taxation and involuntary taxation? I mean, think about it. Voluntary taxation. Voluntary taxation. It sounds like an oxymoron. Like those two words don't belong together. But if you're being taken care of, if you're eating, your family's eating, you got a nice property. It's a property. Where you rest at. There's properties over here and over here. So, you got a family estate. More than likely, you're going to do something charitable because you want to, because as you're having a good time, rolling in whatever car that you like down the street or whatever, you're gonna drive by something that you aren't necessarily going to like. It's not necessarily going to sit right with you. You're going to see a situation, whatever it is, you're going to see it. You can think about it maybe, it's going to be on your mind. If it's, anything like me, it's going to weigh heavy on your mind. And ultimately, the only way to satiate those type of things, in my mind, is to do something positive or do something about it. That's voluntary taxation. I live in the city. I know a lot of y'all live in the city. I know a lot of y'all drive trucks. And you listen to me in the archives. Peace to you. I know a lot of y'all drive through cities. You see the people on the side of the road holding the signs, whether it's will work for food or homeless, hungry, God bless. I saw this one that said, ninjas killed my family. Need money for karate lessons for revenge. I gave my man $10. It was funny. It was in Chicago, downtown, right next to Epic Burger. That's voluntary. That's voluntary taxation. So voluntary tax versus involuntary taxation. We get our check, and man, and they always show us the gross too. They always show us what we got, and then they show us what we got, which is involuntary taxation. Because the legislation governs this entity that we're using. I don't care if it's your name. You say it's your, oh, this is me, it's my name. No, I don't care, whatever. The legislation is governing that entity. The public legislation is governing that entity. I mean, think about that, y'all. The entity that we're using to do business, to cash our checks, to open up bank accounts, to turn on the lights. Some of us are putting investments in it. You know, this entity that we're using in commerce is governed by legislation. That's why you have to file taxes. I ain't saying you got to pay taxes. I ain't saying you ain't got to pay taxes. I'm saying that's why you have to file taxes with the 1040. That's why the 1040 only has certain deductions, and then there's a ceiling to deductions. Because the entity that we have been using this whole time to do business is a public entity, and it's the wrong one. We shouldn't have been using it. That's why it's finally time to go private. Imagine if I'm using an entity and it's not governed by legislation, it's governed by the contract. And as the trustee of this entity, I have the authority with, you know, the co-trustees or the board of trustees or what have you to amend the contract in the private. Also, anklets, one of the first things to do is, as a trustee, is to, or that's done, or, you know, here, look. One of the first things I do as a trustee is sign a non-disclosure agreement, which means, you know, the dealings with regards to the trust, beneficiaries, so on and so forth, you know, and the day-to-day dealings is private. It's private. So when it comes to disclosure, I apologize. I'm unable to divulge that information. I'm actually signing a non-disclosure contract with regards to that information. And unless you have a subpoena or some sort of delegation of authority, I can't not give you that information, what you're asking for, the business, my private business that you're asking me, without breaking a contract. I know you're not advising me or attempting to coerce me into impairing the obligation of a contract, are you? And that's why it's finally time to go private. We don't even understand what that means, private. We're all so used to just being public, everything being public. Those that do business with private entities, their tax returns are private. I say this a lot, but Mitt Romney was running against Obama when Obama was running for his second term in office as the president of the United States. There were people in Mitt Romney's camp, or not in his camp, but there were people at one of his rallies or something that were asking him and pretty much demanding that he release his tax returns. When you gotta ask or demand someone to release their tax returns, that means their tax returns are private. That's why it's finally time to go private. Now, going private isn't easy. I'm not even gonna pull any punches. Check it out. I know a bunch of y'all got 9A numbers. I'm gonna tell y'all right now that doesn't matter. It does not matter. That's like going to the bank and they ask you for identification, you pull out a Social Security card. That's what that is. That's an insubstantiated entity. You're missing half of it. Like, if I open a corporation, right, I got the articles of organization, right, with the Secretary of State, filing number, and then I got the federal EIN from the IRS, and I give them those paperwork. I can't open an account just with the EIN. So everyone, you got a 9A number, you think you're doing it, you're not doing it. You're playing yourself. And I'm not saying that to be harsh. I'm saying that because we family. And I love you. And if you got a booger in your nose, I would tell you, like, yo, hey, you got a booger in your nose. You can be mad at me all you want, but, yo, you ain't going to get home and look in the mirror and be like, man, I had a booger in my nose, man, this whole time. And then thinking about all the people that you saw who didn't tell you. And I'm going to be one of those people. That's not going to happen. Nah. So you can be mad at me, but I'm going to tell you, yo, you got a booger in your nose. I'm the type of family member that'll tell you things that are kind of, I try to be as gentle as I can. I'll pull you to the side, but I'm going to let you know. You got a 9A number and you want to have a corresponding paperwork to go with that, corresponding contract, private contract to go with that, you're playing yourself. Stop it. You're not done. You're not even close. I see cats selling MP3s and selling webinars on how to get the 9A number. That's absolutely ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. You're doing the public, in my opinion, a disservice. So you can get some money. Because about money, learn something. Beyond how to get an EIN, public or private. So you can be ashamed of yourself. I apologize, y'all, but I'm tired of seeing this, man. So, look, a private entity. There's multiple different types of trusts, just like there's multiple different types of corporations or public entities, to be exact. These different entities, through the indenture, are tasked to do certain things. Specifically, what the Social Security number, in my opinion, coupled with the birth certificate, what that is a business entity created by and for the benefit of the state that created it. I got an ID and I got this letter from the IRS, right? Two separate things. Go around, show the ID, show the letter. Two separate things. They're not related. It's tax exempt, no taxes. The state of whatever your birth certificate is, right, did not supply you with an entity that was tax exempt in the state. Shouldn't there be some sort of benefit for you to be I guess residing in the state. Nope. You're paying federal and state taxes. Paying sales tax, use tax, all the taxes. You see a mobile phone bill lately? See all the taxes on there? But there's different entities, business entities, whether they're for-profit or non-profit. They're business entities that may or may not have to pay taxes. That's just an example. Now, I'm not a tax protester. I'm not. I'm not the type. I file tax returns on behalf of the entities that I administer. So I'm not trying to hear all that mess. About social tax protester. Is it finally time to go private? A lot of people ask, can they get in trouble? Yeah, you can get in trouble. You can get in trouble using the social as well, though. Willful failure to file taxes, penalties, non-deductible expenses, different forms that you didn't fill out, so therefore you can't take advantage of this. No, we didn't tell you, but still you can't take advantage of this. How frustrating this thing is. You have an entity, even if you start a business and you're a shareholder or a major shareholder and you own shares, that income is coming to the business entity, the public business entity with your name on it and a social security number. And that income is subject to the rules of that entity, that legislated public entity. Whereas, I'll tell you what I do. I do business. The shareholder and the owner is not me. Quote, with the quotes. It's not me. The shareholder is a trust. Man. The shareholder is a trust. The shareholder is governed by the contract. The shareholder is private. The shareholder was not created by the public state. I administer the shareholder, of course, for certain benefits that are within the contract. And I'm sorry, that's private because I signed a non-disclosure agreement, sir. You can get in trouble dealing with a private entity in the same way you get in trouble dealing with a public entity. Because the private entity is not you. The public entity is not you. The reason why we get in trouble into so much issue with the public entity that we administer that we believe is actually us is because we're amalgamated as a living, breathing to a corporate fiction. Become a surety or a bond servant. This is the only entity that really can do that. Every other entity gets dealt with on its own. The only time you see cats getting prosecuted on the corporate side is if they stepped outside of the ambit of their authority within their contract, their employment contract, the bylaws of the corporation, or the operating agreement of the corporation. Then, and only then, can they be prosecuted individually. Otherwise, they're blanketed by the corporation. Same thing if you're dealing in the private. If you're doing business from the standpoint of a private entity, if you went private, that you can get in trouble, embezzling funds, stealing, taking stuff that's not yours, trust assets, self-dealing. These are the things that can get you in trouble going private. But the benefits are out of this world. The benefits I can't even begin to explain. Well, maybe I could. And maybe I will. So check this out. You have I have several corporations that I administer. You see how I phrase that? I don't own any corporations. And I'm steadily going back and forth with these public actors on behalf of these corporations as to whether or not I'm the owner of these corporations. And, I have other people that I know that deal with the same thing. Today, I went and had Wells Fargo print like 3 temporary checks. And they charge $1 per check, so it's $3 for the business. And these fools didn't put the business name on the check. They put the signer's name on the check. And I said, why you put the signer's name on the check? Because that's the signer. I'd be like, yo, this is a business account. You're associating incorrect fields, this name with this business address. This looks like fraud to me. She just saw the way she looked at me. I guess trying to see if I'm serious. Reprint these checks. As a matter of fact, let me waive that $3 fee. I don't even know why y'all charging $3. It's not you, and I don't own it. I don't. I'll be lying. I got contracts that I've seen within the corporate documents that show who the owners are, and none of them are me. Now, I do get a salary, $10.99. But that, it's definitely contracted through a trust. But I do get fringe benefits, and that's where I'm at. But all of the profits of this corporation are passed on to the shareholders. Shareholder being single or double, triple, whatever. All trust, business trust, private business trust. You see how the corporation paid no taxes right there? Fringe benefits, if you're familiar with the publication, which is publication 15B, Internal Revenue Service publication 15B. You see how much stuff you technically got excluded from taxable income just by administrating an entity? And then the entity itself didn't pay any taxes because all that taxable income was passed on to the shareholders. Shareholders being trust having beneficiaries, the trust themselves taking their deductions on their 1041s, and then passing their taxable liability on to the trust beneficiaries. Now, if you got a charitable entity in there, you got a family trust, you see where I'm going with this. You'd be surprised on how fast you would think in your own mind that you're rich. Like 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 2 months, 3 months. You'd be like, I'm rich. I just encourage people to study. I encourage you to understand exactly what is going on, exactly what is being said. I encourage you to take the responsibility into yourself and not look to blame anyone else for misleading you or telling you the wrong thing or not telling you right or, so on and so forth. I encourage you to take it within yourself because that's the only way you become powerful. It's the only way you become strong. To understand what's going on out here, understand what's being said, understand why it's being said, understand to whom's benefit is it being said. Why is it being propagated? What's being defined and why is it being defined and why aren't you being allowed to define it for yourself? If you ask me, trust law. If you ask me, it's private. If you want to ask me more, HFRN.foundation@gmail.com. I teach trust administration in the private. Actual, factual, actionable trust administration. Like, get moving for real. Not sit there for 4 months trying to figure it out and I'm gone. Nope. Because I got a show next Wednesday, and 424-222-5250 is the number to call in, and I'm not getting played on air. This is important. When it comes to the economy, you need every dollar you can get. I don't care if you are middle class, upper middle class, low middle class, no middle class, no class, low class. It don't matter. We all need every dollar we can get. If you ever ask anyone if they have enough money, most of them are going to say no. It's just, time to get smart and strategic. Tax avoidance is 100% legal. The Supreme Court decisions and disseminations that affirm the fact that tax avoidance is completely legal. One setting up their affairs as to avoid a taxation is completely legal. If one was not able to set up their affairs in a manner to which avoid taxation, they incur the tax and they attempt to evade paying the tax as is illegal. Get you fed time. Doesn't matter. Is it finally time to go private? I think so. I think, we've been operating, and when I say we, I'm talking generationally. Generationally, when it comes to my father, my mother, their parents, we've been operating for too long through entities that do not benefit our families or ourselves more than it benefits the public and someone else's family and someone else's self. Biggest issue, if you ask me, is our ignorance towards commerce, is our ignorance towards the understanding of commerce, is our ignorance towards understanding when we entered commerce first and initially, whether of minor capacity or major capacity. If you ask me, none of us have major capacity, not yet. And the respective points, laws, nuances, statutes, and unspoken rules with regards to how commerce is properly and for the benefit of oneself administered. That's what we're missing. Just the knowledge. What's going on? Where am I? Where did I come from? And where am I going? Where am I? I'm in commerce. Where did I come from? You came out of commerce. You weren't in commerce at first. And if you ask me, a lot of us, I don't know if they still do it, but I've seen it. I know my mother has mine. The little baby footprints on the paper, when they're born. And I'd be like, what if that is? So he'd be like, well, you touched the commercial realm. You stood in commerce before you stood on the earth. So did the original claim come there because our feet touched this contract or this application? And there's evidence of that through the ink print before our feet ever touched the ground, the earth. And, is that the corporate soul? I don't know. Maybe I'm digressing. Bottom line is, we've been doing business from disadvantaged entities for too long. There's a slave class. Where to say slave class? And if you're European, you might have some white supremacy going on. I ain't judging. And I ain't pointing fingers. I'm just saying. And then, us so-called African Americans, we got some supremacy going on with the Somalians and the other Africans that are coming in here, right? Because they ain't black, right? They don't know what it's like, right? And then, they look at, man, no matter what so-called race you are, there's a race that we look down upon. And we don't realize that we all in the same class. We all in the same caste system. We all run around with debt notes without the understanding of how to exchange these debt notes into tangible assets that benefit our families as well as ourselves. We are running around benefiting the corporations, benefiting their bottom lines, getting their corporate books into the black. That's why they call it Black Friday. Get their books out of the negative, out of the red, and into the black, so they can close their fiscal year at the end of Q4 and not be negative on the books. So they do a Black Friday. Can't start a fire without a match or a lighter. Fashion, we're all into fashion. Can't create our own. I don't know anyone that can make a hoodie. It's just like, yo, I'm gonna make you this hoodie, man. So it's gonna be raw. I'm gonna make you this hoodie. No, they buy the hoodie and then maybe put a screen press on it. I don't really know anybody that can make shoes, but I met this Jewish dude. His last name was Schumacher, and I'm like, Schumacher, shoemaker. His families had trades, and the only way you got out of poverty is if you apprenticed for someone who knew it was popping. Nowadays, they show us horse-drawn carriages, horse-drawn carriages, and to get it so far away from us in our minds that we don't understand it. That's going on right now. Right now. I've been all over the world, y'all, not seen it. You can't tell me nothing. Nothing. You can't buy me. I walked away from lots of money. And I'm telling the truth when I say, listen, we are all slaves. But we can get free, right? How do we get free? We just need to learn. We just need to learn when you stop doing things that do not benefit us. Spending our time. You ever thought about that? I invest my time as much as possible. I invest my time in businesses. I invest my time in family. I invest my time in my family. I invest my time in my family. Y'all my family. I'm investing my time right now. I don't spend too much time, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Is it finally time to go private? Yes. For the benefit of what? Private. Who's private? You. You ain't public. If you're using this name with this social security number, title, and property, police run up in the house. We don't have rights, y'all. Privileges, driving privileges. Suspend your driving privileges. I mean, come on. I've gotten the letters. Man, I used to speed like crazy. I used to race and stuff. Call myself a, whatever. Suspend your driving privileges. Not rights, privileges. Time to go private. You got your title. You got your property title in a private entity. Ooh, check this out, though. You got the private entity, right? That's charitable. Y'all know I got this right. 990 PF is the Internal Revenue Service form. It's the filing form. It's Private Family Foundation, right? So I'm sitting here thinking about this because, I got this tax exempt letters, and from my foundation, plus, Sharif and I and the sister, we got a foundation together and stuff. So, I'm administrating like a couple different foundations. I'm sitting here thinking like, man, so this is a tax exempt private entity, right? Yeah. So what happens to property taxes if I title the property into this tax exempt private family foundation? I heard a crack. I heard a pop. Someone's anklet just broke. And I'm not playing, man. Like, it's simple, but it's challenging. It's not easy. It's challenging. It's not hard either. It's not hard. It's challenging, but it's simple. It's time to go private. Not even playing. Not even joking. And, you do not need, there's no requirement for an EIN to title property at the county. You do not need an entity identifying number, employee identifying number, social security number. You do not need these numbers to title property at the county level. I'll put nuances in the description. And I'm just saying stuff. I'm not really pointing it out. But I'm just saying stuff, y'all. I hope y'all pick up what I'm putting down. Because this is the foundation. This is it right here. And if it's not, tell me where it is. And I'll do my best to modify so that this is the foundation. But, this is the foundation, y'all. Now, you want to have a driver's license, that's on you. You want to have state plates, that's on you. Do not need. All you need is a name to title property. All you need is a name and an address to title a vehicle at the DMV. That's if the certificate of manufacturer certificate of origin. Right? Manufacturer's certificate of origin, certificate of manufacturer origin. Anyways, when you buy a brand new car, that's what the dealership sends to the DMV. But if you buy a car, you know what's going on, or purchase a car, you know what's going on, and you get that, you can just title that, record that in the name of the trust. It's private. I don't know, though. I don't know. What I do know is it is time to go private. It's time to, and when I say go private, I mean if you have any savings, if y'all was with me during the current events, what was it, 60-something% of Americans don't have savings, have less than 1,000, and 39% had no savings at all or whatever. Any savings, 401k, IRA, which is an individual retirement account, any of these things, if they're denominated in paper assets, which they are, they're susceptible. It's about to go down. I can't be more specific, but it's about to go down. You see all these stores closing, all these things going bankrupt. Why are they going bankrupt? Because they're not getting any sales. Why aren't they getting any sales? Because the economy is tore off. And it's being heavily manipulated. The price of gold and silver is being caught red-handed. Paid settlements. I think this was last year. It's time to go private. What is private? Gold and silver, real assets, property, estate. If you know what you're doing, if you understand trust law, if you're a proper trustee, you were trained up, you understand contract law, and you understand jurisdiction, you understand liens improvements versus land patents on property or patents on lands, mortgage on improvements, patents on lands, mortgage on improvements, patents on lands. Man, so like if there's a private no trespassing notice to the public, wouldn't these fools have to trespass on my land to do anything with this house? And what if the trespass fee for trespassing on my land was more than they could ever get for the house? And what do I mean by that? Privately, the creator created his land. Publicly, the improvements, the structure, fictitious on top of the land, technically only claim that any type of fictitious commercial realm can have is on another fiction or its insular possessions. Man, I hope y'all caught that. Because how else does it work? I don't know. My name is Soaked, S-O-T, that stands for Seeker of Truth. So I'm still seeking. Still looking. I'm looking hard. I suggest you do. In order to go private, you ain't going to find it in the public. It's not going to come to you on a Google search. You're going to have to hit people up who know. I know. HFRN.foundation@gmail.com. I'm going to go to the phone lines in a second. Because, man, I feel like I rant and I just talk. But I don't know. I hope y'all feeling me. I'm going to go to the phone lines in a second. If you're listening, on the internet, 424-222-5250. Call in, press 1, holler at me. I take questions over there too, I'm just a normal guy, y'all. I'm just a normal dude. I'm trying to eat less sweets. I do want to say, though, it's not all bad. My mentors, they saying that there's going to be a war and the United States is going to lose. I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of times, I have this feeling. I be having this feeling, Sometimes I get this feeling and I, go home. I remember when I was, 17, someone told me just to go home and not go with these homies. And I went home. And they, did some stupid stuff, man. And they still in prison now. So, I don't know. I call it intuition. Or the big homie hollering at me. That's what I call it. I talk to the big homie. And I'll say that, and people will be like, oh, okay. You don't talk to his big homie. You got to, no, man, I'm talking about the big homie, my higher self, man. My intuition. So I listen to my intuition, and my intuition, I don't know, man. I don't know. I do know we're co-creators, and if we agree, if enough of us agree to something or some sort of future event, it's going to happen. So there's some aspect to that, some occult dealings and stuff going on. I don't really know where to sway. All I know is fiat currency historically always goes to zero. So get out of the dollar. Get some gold and silver. If you don't hold it, you don't control it, you might as well just, I don't know. I'm trying to be positive because there's no way it's all bad, you know what I mean? That would go against natural law. And those who know, we understand that. So like I said, I'm going to go to the phone lines, 424-222-5250. Is it time to finally go private? I don't know. What do you think? Because, I could be just completely tripping. So you're bugging out, fam. What is you talking about? Going private. You one of them kooks. This stuff doesn't work. You misleading the people. Is it time to go private? I don't know. 706-6615. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Tania.
Hey, sis, how you doing?
Columbus. Hello. Is Yusuf on tonight?
Oh, no, it's just me, So L. Usually does like open forum Fridays.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because he had posted it on his Facebook that he was live, so. But okay. But anyway, I like the topic, so that's why I called it. So, yes, it's time to go private. Yes and no for some people. In my opinion, with my experience, I feel like, depending on where your state of consciousness, you may need to stay public until you finish studying and figuring things out. But for those of us who have kind of, met the devil in the flesh, the way Yusuf likes to say it, I think it is time for us to go private because some of the people that kind of have to stay public a little while longer than maybe we do because they're still learning. If we go private and get our things together, we can kind of, put your hands back and, kind of help people. So I feel like, depending on where you are in life and what your status is and, some of the things that you've already done in terms of organizing your business and getting that straight to where you're in control of your own finances. In other words, you're self-governing yourself and you're not depending on the services of the government at all in order to just live from day to day, then I think it is time for you to go to be private and stay private and kind of help others who kind of have to kind of be in between right now or kind of just stay on the public side until they're done learning or whatnot. So that's just my opinion. But so that's why I said yes and no. It just depends on the person. I don't think some people are trying to go private a little too fast from, my experience and talking with a lot of other people. I think people are waking up, but they're trying to wake up running. You can't wake up running. You have to go step by step and kind of allow yourself to take in all the knowledge and information that you can and kind of do things one at a time and kind of, kind of go the universe. Nature doesn't hurry for anything. Okay, so for everyone that's listening, I feel like, sometimes you can get overwhelmed with being bogged down sometimes with, all the new information that's out here and all these processes and, this person saying this person saying that person beefing, this person beefing. But at the end of the day, I think that if there's any encouragement for any of the new people that are learning, just keep your head up and, keep studying. Don't be in a rush. You just be strictly private because I really do feel like there's a lot of things that you need to learn before you just switch over to the private side. And I'm talking on a spiritual level, So, like I said before, a lot of people like to wake up running. They just want to run, but they haven't crawled yet. So I just feel like, as far as going private, everyone that's still public right now, you kind of still depending on that social and, you're just trying to get it worked out because you're studying. That's fine, but, I'm not saying be slow with your learning, but, go as fast as your life will allow you to go in terms of straightening your business out and getting everything straight because it's not hard to go private. It's just that, sometimes I just feel like there's a lot of spiritual principles that I feel like a lot of us need to get down pat before we just, jump in that private ocean. So that's just my opinion, but that's all I
think that's
say.
very true. I think that's very true. I like it when you said nature don't hurry for anything. I think that's very true.
Right.
And that's something to take into consideration. I will admit it is a step-by-step process. It is a challenge, but like I say, it's not hard. And like how you said that, you take our time, we're gonna make it. It's gonna be fun. So, I like that.
Right.
Absolutely right.
Right. You know, because it really is okay. You know, I know there's a lot going on in the world, but at the end of the day, everything really is okay. And how you know that is when you look out into your world and you see the trees are just standing there peacefully all the time, you know. So,
right.
You know, everything is okay. You know, I just think we just need to, you know, just chill out and kind of take our time with learning everything and getting all the principles down packed that we need to get down before we just, you know, like I said, jump in that private ocean. Because over here in the private world, I feel like it's lots of responsibility. Like I didn't even when I first started learning, I didn't really realize how, I don't know, just how much you needed to like grow and know in order to really be self-governing. And it's been a 3-4 year journey for me, and I definitely didn't realize that I had to know all of these things in order to be self-governing. I just thought it was just some cut and dry type of process thing that I could just buy or learn from someone, and that's the furthest thing from the truth, you know. The truth is, if you really don't have the spiritual foundation, you're not ready yet.
Right.
So,
that's very true.
I don't know. I just think you're playing with fire when you know, try to go too fast and, you know, and you're going over here in the private side and you're really not ready yet. You know, that I just think you're playing with fire because these people are furious. You know, they're fierce. You know, they have a brotherhood. You know, they stick together and, you know, they don't care what you're doing. They're going to go just as hard on their side, you know, to counter what you do and what you say and what you stand for. But one thing remains that helps me is that I always remember that no one can tell me what to believe and who to be, you know, and who to serve.
Right.
So, and that's why I keep going back to the spiritual aspect of it. I really think people do not really understand how important it is to get those spiritual principles down packed before they make that 100% switch to the private side, because, you know, there's a lot of perks to being completely private, but there's a lot of danger too, you know, so that comes with that. And so you need to have the spiritual foundations in order to protect yourself from yourself and others sometimes, you know. With being private, it's a lot of responsibility, you know. It's definitely not for the weak and the, you know, weary at heart. You know, you have to be willing to, you know, endure to the end, and sometimes that's not always easy, you know. So I just feel like it's a time to go private. Like I said, you know, this depends on where you are consciously, and, you know, if you're there and you feel, your spirit will let you know, and if you're ready to go private, you know, learn all you can learn so you can, you know, put your hand back and help others that are kind of still stuck in the public realm of everything because they're still learning or they're just starting to learn. So I just feel like we just, you know, kind of coast in the middle and keep the balance with everything. I think no matter what happens in the world, we'll be okay.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I appreciate you calling in, and thanks for adding to the foundation. Sorry about you, sis, but, you know, I'm trying to hold it down. And thanks for calling in, and appreciate you adding.
Okay.
Have a great night, sister.
You too.
Peace to the guys. I like that. Yep, it's very spiritual. Yeah, you got to have your spirit right. High-level explosives, you know. You know, put a hole in the mountain and make it easier for everyone to drive through. You can blow your hands off, blow yourself up, and blow everybody else around you. I ain't talking Taliban. So, yeah. Thank you, sister. Very, very important aspect to remember, as well as, you know, I like how the sister said it's going to be okay. Sister, you got a motherly quality to you. You're at least someone's older sister or something, you know. She's got that quality to you. Very calming. I feel calmer. 717-3909. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, my name is Anita, calling from New Jersey.
Peace, sister. How you doing? Anita?
Yes.
Yeah, just want to get it right.
Okay. I wanted to ask you. I think it was not last Sunday, not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that, and you were talking about the first-time homeowners.
Yes. Okay.
So, could you give me some insight on that? And also the sister, she's from New Jersey, that was also talking with you. Does she have a website where we can?
Sister Dais. Oh, she's actually scheduled to come on the show again next week. So she'll come back. And no, I don't think she has a website just yet. But as far as the first-time home buyer, did you have any specific questions? Are you in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay, so $16,000. She did forward me that information. If you email me, hfrn.foundation@gmail.com, I'll forward you that information with regards to the down payment assistance. But basically, the federal government has legislation with regards to first-time home buyers. So it's it's federal. It's all 50 states, and the overall aspects of this program is it's a 3% down, very low percentage down payment. It's a fixed rate, so it's not adjustable rate. It's a low fixed rate, and the eligibility, depending on income qualifications, debt to income ratio, as well as income from other sources. The program itself allows for single, double, triple, and up to fourplex properties to be obtained through this program. So it's good for, in my opinion, like investors who are looking to start investing into real estate. It's a great position because honestly, if you get a duplex or above, and you live in one portion and you rent out the other, after 2 years, that portion that's rented out, that counts as income as well. So if you keep your job for 2 years or whatever current income you have that allowed you to qualify in the first place, and then 2 years later you can use the income from the rents that is being charged to augment or in addition to the income that you have otherwise. So you can qualify for a larger loan, essentially, and get a bigger property, more units. It's a really good way to get into, like I said, real estate investing.
Could you tell me the email again?
HFRN, so Henry, Frank, Rebecca, Nancy, period, foundation.
Is it the website that? Is it the email that's on the internet? The website? Is that the email like that?
No, this email goes straight to me.
Okay, so you said HFB.
HFRN.
HFRN.
Period. Foundation.
Okay.
The word foundation, like a concrete foundation.
Yes, I understand.
At gmail.com. I'm just trying to make sure you get it. I apologize.
Yeah. So I keep asking you, so I just really get it. All right. So anyway, you said hfrn.foundation@gmail.com.
Correct. Yes, that's it.
All right. So I'm going to email you, and you can, give me the information.
Okay. Yep, I'll do that because you're in New Jersey, correct?
Yes. What's your name again?
Okay. Yeah.
So,
my
L,
name
right?
is Soap. Yeah, Soap. S-O-T, kind of like soap, like you wash your body with it, but instead of a P, it's a T. So soaped.
Soap L. Okay.
Soaped L, yes.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I really love it, Joe. I just, oh man, that felt so good from that sister. It was just beautiful. You know, she's so right. I just see the state that we're in. You know, just poverty itself should let us know that we got to try another way. You know.
Yep, it's time. You know, I see pictures of my parents and my grandparents and great-grandparents, and, I think it's time.
I always tell my sons that I think black people just have a hard time accepting that, you're programmed, and you have to deprogram it. And there's no way we only getting this information from people who, experience it, like yourself. Why would they tell us this? Who's using us? Who's exploiting us? So the statistics that you spoke of in the beginning of the show, doesn't that says it all? I mean, numbers don't lie.
No, and I don't think it's anything to get. I don't do this to bring us down and make us feel better about ourselves. I just think you got to be aware of it. It's like, we're walking down the sidewalk, and I'm like, watch out, there's dog poop right there. It's not so you're like, oh, look, ew, it stinks, and there's corn in it. Nothing like that. And I'm not trying to be derogatory, sister, but I'm just saying, not to dwell on it, just to walk around it and just to keep moving. And that's why I do the show. I don't want to dwell in it, and I don't want to get negative about it, and I don't want to necessarily get into opinions and debates about it. I just want to point it out. So some of us are going to be like, yeah, okay, so what? Some of us are going to be like, man, I don't see nothing. Shut up. And then some of us are going to be like, well, you're right. I'm going to do something about that. And those are the people that I want to, get across to. It's like, it's kind of messed up, but we can do something about it.
Yeah. And I just want to thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. And thanks for calling in.
Yes.
All right, peace. Yes, email me, sister. I'll send you that information. Sister Anita, New Jersey. They're giving away $16,000 in New Jersey. If you want a new house, you can get the first-time home buyer in New Jersey. You got to take a class like 8 hours. Do it on a Saturday. They give you a little certificate. They give you 16,000. See? I'm lying already. I'm sorry. No, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And this is why I do this. Because y'all my family. And it's only right, And then, if you ask anyone who's been successful, money-wise, or has been on the precipice of being successful, like once you see this stuff, they kind of give you the look like, shh, be quiet, don't tell anybody. But you can hang out with us now. You're one of us now. I'm not trying to hear that, man. I went home, laying this foundation. 908-0419. Peace. Where you calling from?
Peace. It's JB, Dirty Jersey.
JB, man, how you doing?
Excellent, brother.
Good, man. How you doing?
Man. Great show. I'm awesome. There's definitely some people holding their toes tonight. It's good. I like it.
Yep, that's the thing. That's my theme music.
I dig it, man. It's important. And I think I want to be a public individual, personally.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
No, I think obviously I think it's time to go private. I want to shout out the wisdom in Tania's call, because I think that her emphasizing the spiritual part of it is like super real important. It was the spiritual aspect that brought me to this. I wasn't looking for any of this. I wasn't, I wasn't doing so financially amazing that I didn't have to consider it, but I wasn't in like dire straits either. But I'd connected to something spiritually, and it let me. And all this stuff is just I see it as a manifestation of that. But on the other level, like she was saying, like I feel like you really do need to understand that that's behind all of this to fully maximize it. I mean, like you said, they capture your soul on a contract before it hits the ground, and they siphon your energy. That's spiritual. It's all like, but that's very connected. I think that's one of the biggest secrets to this. Like we're trained, it's all dollars and cents and mathematics.
Yeah. Someone's got to do the work, right?
Absolutely.
If you see a mind, if you see a mine, there's diamonds down in that mine, but it's dusty, and there's like different types of stuff that's in the air. It can cause cancer and so on and so forth. If you have shareholders and whatnot, it's probably, or at least, from the commercial aspect, it's in the benefit of the corporation and the shareholders to find humans that are ignorant to the liabilities of, going in those mines and getting those diamonds.
That's correct.
Someone's got to do. And I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, there's always going to be those who choose not to educate themselves, who choose not to value education. And whether that, but I just think,
that's the key.
I just think it's been cool. It's been made cool in modern times to not value education. It's been perpetuated to be cool to devalue education as well as to value only certain types of education. And I think that's what the issue is. It's cool to be uneducated. It's cool to be a defensive, or it's okay to be defensive to the point where we're not learning or we're not moving forward. And it's just said it's very spiritual. I just assume that this is, and maybe that's just me, and not to take anything away from what you're saying and the sister's saying, because y'all are absolutely right. It's spiritual, but I just assume this is high frequency radio network.
Right.
Maybe I just felt like that was just kind of default. But
I think it would be, and I think a lot of people know, just like they know it intellectually, but they really got to register that. It's like that really is, because I know, I came in with that, and when you get caught up in the commerce of it, I think it can be easy to forget, because you start, it's like there are people saying, oh, there is no money and it's a game, and and to a degree that's all true, but it's still like the only reason you can play like that is if you have that faith, if you have that spirit where it doesn't, where the material losses and gains aren't the be all end all. Can you really, throw calculated caution to the wind, so to speak? It's like, I feel like all these big people, we see like them rise and fall, like they'll lose and gain fortunes almost overnight. Like look at Trump, he's been bankrupt a billion times, even though it's not the bankruptcy most people are familiar with. But you think for a second when those people are losing materially, in their mind they've lost faith that they'll get all of it and more on the material aspect back? Like I don't think so. I think that they don't even, there's not a thought in their mind that's just not part of the game. But their place in the game is to have that fortune, is to have the power play. And that's what they'll go back to. And I mean it's I think that's why I think that's important, because if you're looking at it as just the commerce that defines you and not you that's defining the commerce, that's like not as strong a position.
It just sounds like the created defining the creator to me, which is
right.
Bass backwards.
Yes, it is bass backwards. That's true. But I don't want to hog up too much of the time. I just want to say thank you as always. You guys are definitely performing a service. And thanks for emailing back so quick. I was traveling. I'll shoot you after the show.
Oh, no problem. I'm quick on the draw with them emails, man.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, man, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate you, man. All praises due to the ancestors,
thank you, brother.
The Creator. And enjoy the rest of your week. Peace to the gods. So, peace to that sister Tania. It is spiritual. Not everyone's ready. I'm glad she said that. It's you got to be right. Because in reality, and I'm gonna just tell you this: in reality, if your intentions are incorrect or on a weird aspect, no matter what paperwork you send in, it's not going to be effective. Is it finally time to go private? Man, someone should be private. Y'all should have a family estate. You should have a family trust. Somebody, you have some family trustee somewhere doing some sort of dance. That's just me, though. But the sister's correct. It's very spiritual. Not everyone's ready. So let me amend the name of this episode to Is It Finally Time to Go Private? / Time to Learn to Go Private. I have no problem doing that. Is this another caller? 803-5742. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Peace. It's Jay.
Oh, peace, Jay. What's good, man?
Yeah, I had to catch the anchor. I know I'm always on the line. I just wanted to give other people opportunity to, I'm curious to know. It's a great show, man. Great.
Thank you, sir.
It is time. It's been time, but definitely now. I mean, making the money is not the issue. It's keeping it. It's getting out of the public. And since when has it benefited you to be? In certain instances, it does benefit you to be in the public, but rarely. Very. Like what are you working for? How do you keep it? Put yourself in a position to win long term, And I think everybody who is listening is on the same page, or, trying to get there. We all trying to get there. And like the sister said, man, everybody is working at different paces. You got to crawl before you walk before you run. But my main purpose for chiming in, I'm curious to know about the next event, man. Like, it's still Jersey. It's, you know, I'm looking forward to that. You know.
Yeah, it's still Jersey. You know what? Because, like, I was going to be like, well, I'm trying to book this presenter, and this presenter is super duper private. I don't even know if the brother got an email. And I'm not going to say his name and him not show up because I don't do business like that. But decided just to go ahead and do it with or without this presenter. So, yeah, it's going to be New Jersey. And we're looking at June 3rd. But I haven't. Cool. It's going to be around the airport.
Okay.
It'll be close to the airport. Wait. Does New Jersey have an airport? I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
Hey, man, you know where I'm at, man. Right?
Yeah, I know where you're at. So yeah, it'll be June 3rd. It's a Saturday. It's the first Saturday of June. And looking at grabbing the actual venue where it's gonna be at currently. So
that's the important part. I was just putting myself in the shoes of a new listener or someone who has not been to an event, and I'm like, I bet their mind is blown. But you know, in comparison, you know, it's complete contrast. You know, over the air and in the quote unquote public, what we're doing right now, that's like a little cherry bomb compared to, you know, what they just dropped on Syria. You know what I mean? Like, it's total. You know, like, you get to the that's you know, I'm looking forward to that. That's where it's at, you know. With pancaking bodies, you know. That's what I'm looking at. From top of cranium to under the feet, you know, pancakes. Right?
I just feel like it's time, you know. And
chime in, man. It's like it ain't right if I don't chime in. You know? I gotta chime in, man.
You know, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate it, as always. Man, I appreciate it. You know, yeah. It made me stop what I'm doing. You know, I'm over here writing code and and I'm like, man, I gotta cut the keyboard off. I gotta listen. It's a great show as always. Man.
Thank you, sir. All praise.
We both here. I don't know what she's doing right now. She probably needed out. She here.
Who that?
She always here. Lisa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she both. You know, calling.
Yeah, peace, sister.
My line sign.
All right.
Lisa, you there?
Oh, yeah. Peace
yeah,
to the
peace, sister.
Oh, peace, sister. How you doing?
Good. How are you? I was on mute.
Came around the corner on me.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh, there she is.
She's gonna beat me up and throw it on the bus like that. Like, ah.
Yeah,
you gonna get it later.
Always.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, no, great show.
Well, yeah, you know. But, appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. You know, just trying to be like the big brother.
I love as like being like a trustee in training and hearing what you talk about. I'm like, yes, that's so right. That's so true. And it, you know, all correlates to what we're learning and training, and it's really great information. And I just love hearing it. You know, of course you don't go as in depth over the show, but it's just like still always good to hear and keep learning.
Yep. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad that you're
got the most important days of the week, and it ain't because of, you know, Bible study in church. I mean, I ain't knocking nobody. I'm just saying, like, I look for it.
Yeah, this is what we're religious about. We do this religiously.
Yeah, for real. It is our religion.
Every Wednesday.
And they don't know about Sundays. You're not in trustee training, you know. I don't want to brag. I don't want to represent it, but you need to get. That's why I brought up the event. Man. If you're not at the event, you know, There's a difference between listening to a football game on the radio in the car versus being right next to the players on the field, you know, right next to the coach. Like, get that.
Here's the
You know?
difference.
I ain't gonna run it in the hole, man. It's so important. I want to make sure you understand that because I didn't hear you touch on that, but you know, it's that important. At least it was.
I was wondering myself if it was still going to be on June 3rd as well. Just the plan ahead.
Yeah, I just want to hit. I mean, especially with those type of events, you know, because I come from, you know, events technically. So, you know, when I do an event, I want people to go home tripping and talking about it for like the next 5, 6, 7 days. So, you know, I was trying to get this presenter.
Weeks later.
Well, yeah, see, good. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to get this. I'm gonna get this presenter. If I had to fly out to Jersey early to secure it, I'm gonna get this presenter. Mm-hmm. But it's gonna be a really, really great event. Very informative and very empowering, and it's also going to be very conducive to networking. You know, because that's what I like to do. So, yeah, y'all both gonna be there, both y'all.
You know this.
Yes, I'm already excited. Already hyped.
All right, cool,
man. We'll holler in the private, man. I ain't gonna hog the line, man. I just had to chime in.
All right, appreciate y'all. Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
Sure, likewise.
Right.
I'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace out.
Okay.
All right,
Peace.
for sure.
Peace.
Peace to the guys. Man, I was looking in the mirror just now, make sure I wasn't blushing. Peace to y'all too. Yo, those two are trustees, y'all. I feel like it must be a good thing that, you know, we put on these events and we connecting the brothers, we connecting the sisters. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna keep doing me and doing what I do regardless. Stepping on toes, feet, ankles, shins, knees, thighs. I'm the type of dude that if I know it's coming, I probably like compose and dance to my own burial music. But I just think the information needs to be put out. I think our awareness needs to be raised. I think of ancient civilizations that have done things that we can't even understand how they were done. And I'm ashamed internally. I'm ashamed of myself. And I want to do something so I feel less shame. And I know that, you know, alcohol, drugs, arguing, fighting, being angry isn't going to help. I know that making strides to make myself better, as well as my community better, my brothers and my sisters. And that's what I'm doing. I hope, I trust. That's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it. I'm going to do it as long as I can. So I'm going to let y'all know, you know, a workman is worthy of their hire. But every time we do these events, we lose money. Now, don't cry for me, Argentina, because I don't want none of that. What I'm saying is it's going to happen regardless. It has happened regardless and will continue to happen regardless. So June 3rd in New Jersey, I would do New York, but New York is crazy. New York is mad expensive. And we broke. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it. We're going to work on where the spot's going to be. More than likely, it's going to be about 5 hours, 6 hours tops. We're going to mingle, eat a little food, drink a little water, some Sprite, meet some new people, build. So stay tuned for that. You want more information coming up, HFRN.Foundation@gmail.com. Soon I'll have a website, foundation website. Y'all can sign up for the email list. I don't have an email list yet, so just email me. Man, you got last minute. All right, I'm going to take the caller. Caller, 205-0377. Peace, what's your name? Where you calling from?
So, well, it's Mello. What's your business?
Peace, Mello, baby, man. How you doing?
No, you know, everything kosher right now. Everything kosher. I'm just tuning in, chiming in a little bit late. I got the little ones up with me tuning in as well, you know what I'm saying? You know, so want to touch on something real brief. The Queen had a question on the first-time home buyers. Want to know what that just specifically for Jersey, or if that go for, you know, I'm in Alabama, so.
Oh, yeah, it don't matter. It's Jersey, because the sister Dais, she was on the line. Shout out to sister Dais. She's going to be on next week. So we're going to go into this a little bit more. We're going to go into the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. We're going to go into the Fair Credit Reporting Act. We're going to get some stuff off the credit report. So we're going to do that next week, trustfully. But no, that was we were just speaking specifically with regards to New Jersey. Had some really nice incentives with regards to the first-time home buyer program. They were offering $16,000 grants towards a down payment. But the first-time home buyer program is a federal program. It's a federal program, so it's every state.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter in Alabama. It's just that $16,000. That was just for New Jersey. But you know, every state, even down to neighborhood associations, have funds available for first-time home buyers.
Okay.
So, you know, definitely look into your local area. And then, you know, check out the show next week. We're going to go into it a little bit more. Get some more examples, get more specific.
That'd be
but
great,
I'm telling you, if you got 2 years of tax returns and you got a job, man, we need to be looking into this first-time home buyer program. I'm telling you. Serious. It's so for real. It's so for real.
That 2-year tax return and what else?
A job or like, you know, income.
Okay. Yeah, because I was checking out. I did that little creditkarma.com thing a couple weeks back, and man, I found some felonious stuff on this so-called personal credit report. You know, I'm not actually all into, you know what I'm saying, the personal credit repair, you know what I'm saying, what deal, but I want to kind of get some things off there because it seems that I got some blemishes that, bro, I didn't even, you know what I'm saying, apply for. Someone's running around now with mortgage in my name, and I don't even own a house, you feel me?
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, we got to fix that.
Yes, sir.
I got this, I bought this book. I got it on Amazon. I'm not going to say the name of it. I mean, I'll say the name of it during the show. But I was like, I'm not going to say the name of it. I'll just read pretty much everything in the book. And you won't really need the book, but I ain't going to take credit for it. But also, I don't want to be on some plagiaristic stuff, plagiarizing other people's stuff. But I'll touch on that next week. But I mean, that shouldn't be no problem.
Okay.
But yeah, I got this little book. And I was reading it, and it's I mean, for, you know, first level, second level credit repair, it's really good. It's actually got some stuff in there. So we'll get into that next week. Even if the sister don't come on, but I know she is. She's really, she's a sister of her word. So we'll be on there. We'll be on there next week.
Yeah, I want to know.
She knows stuff. She knows stuff. She's done stuff. I mean, I've studied a lot, with regards to that. But this sister's done stuff. So,
okay. Yeah, I want to fix that, man. I'm like actually 100 away from being in the 700 bracket. You know what I'm saying, on that personal credit type thing. But I'm also though I'm more so building on the business. You know what I'm saying? That 2 different vehicles. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, we do that simultaneously.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you tell them that's not your mortgage. That's not going to be nothing.
Okay.
That shouldn't be a problem at all.
Okay. Oh yeah. I ain't been in pocket for a minute, so we took a little family trip. You know what I'm saying? A couple of weeks back, went out to the beach. Went out to South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Hilton Head Island, and it was nice, man. Going to the beach and whatnot, and you know what I'm saying? As Sharice said, sound like you got sand in your feet, man. You know what I'm saying?
Sand between your toes.
It's between your toes. That's right. Yeah, I talked to him last week. But actually, we checked into. We liked it so much. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
And we liked it so much, man. We actually checked it out into timeshare. Went out into the timeshare, man. What's your take on that?
I mean, as long as the contract is good.
Right.
As long as the contract is good.
Yeah. Offers, and we got the date until like in 6.5 or 7 or 6.5 top at a basic payment. We'll be done with it. You know what I'm saying? We'll be able to actually maneuver and travel and visit and stay at any place we just about choose. We got a state book, man. We can go to Africa if we want to. So.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in investing in experiences. Just these life experiences. You can walk around and just talk to someone about how you went to Paris.
Right.
And what you did. That's a life experience. I mean, a lot of people can't talk about that. They sit around like, yeah, I was in Paris, and I was, and I describe Paris like to the T,
right.
And how small the hallways were. These life experiences that are, shape who you are, so to speak, somehow, in some way. So, yeah, I mean, if the contract's great and you can do all those perks, yeah, I'd do it. Do it quick.
Yeah.
But traveling, man, I've always said, travel. Get out of the country as fast as you can, as many times as you can. And when you get out of the country, don't be an American.
Right.
Don't be arrogant. Be out there trying to learn, observe the culture, do as much as you can to kind of fit in and learn something different than what you know. You come back different. Every single time I leave the country, I come back different. For the better, usually. But also, other parts of the country too, man. So invest in experiences, definitely. Appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for checking in, man.
Yes, sir.
Glad you enjoyed your vacation. And I'm going to get with you. All right, brother. Peace to God.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, Went over a little bit tonight. Is it finally time to go private? Or is it finally time to learn how to go private? Shout out to Sister Tania. Hopefully y'all learned something. Hopefully you were able to pick up a little bit of what I was putting down. Hopefully that this was an investment of your time and you didn't spend your time or feel like you wasted your time. Hopefully, at the very least, I made you think differently about some of the same stuff that you do every day and have done every day. And that's really all I really want to do. I want to make you think. I want to make you question things, because as I started and began to question things, that's how I began to free myself. And don't we all want to be free? I do business in the private, y'all. HFRN, period. Foundation@gmail.com. I'll take care of you. I ain't going to hit you over the head either. I do my best to give more than what is required of me. That's just the type of person I am, you know. It's all love. Until it isn't, but most times it is anyways. HighFrequencyRadioNetwork.com. Go to the PDF section. Just chill. When I get welcome to the vault.com up, I'm going to have an ill PDF section. It's going to be the illest, yo. Kid. I'm just playing, but I'm serious, though. Because that's where you come up. Reading. I do want to say peace to High Frequency. I want to say peace to you if you checked out the show the entire episode. And if you're still rocking with me now. I want to say peace to you if you're checking out this episode in the archive right now and you're still rocking with me now. I want to say it's time to move forward. It's time to hold ourselves accountable. It's also time to be nice to each other, but at the same time hold each other accountable. Let's get these friendly competitions going with just being noble, with just being classy. Who can save the most silver in 4 days? But for our benefits, private instead of public. And we can all do better. Catch y'all next week, same time. You know I love you. You know I'll be here. Take care of yourself and love yourself, because you can't throw nothing in the air if you don't have it in your hands. Before you go to sleep, say 10 things that you are happy for. And I'll holler at you next week. Peace to the gods.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.